Do you think there's something that women can do to ensure that they end up with this man? The only way a man may drop you that way is they see if one they find you to be a parasite. At the end of the day, in biology, when you're talking about relationship, you have parasitic relationship and a symbiotic relationship or mutual relationship. So hello guys, welcome to our channel. Call me Jay. So the other time we had an episode whereby we were talking about what women bring to the table, and we also promised to have an episode of what men bring to the table. So today we want to discuss what men bring to the table, because at the end of the day, let me say this: relationship is about partnership. It's about fairness, whereby you don't want to find one side being oppressed and all that. So it's about partnership, fairness, and enjoyment. At the end of the day, we don't want to have boring relationships. Yeah. So we want to talk about what men bring to the table. Yes, what men bring to the table. And are you excited for today's topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know most women are also eager to, because the last time was on your neck. What do women bring to the table?
Yeah.
So today you're on my neck. Yeah. So one of the things that men bring to the table is security and protection. One under security and protection, it can be physical protection. We also have financial protection. Physical protection, for example, when thieves come, the first person to be pushed in front is usually the man. When a snake is in the house, a cobra is there, wants to attack you, it's the man that usually pushed. You have sometimes you have no idea what to do. The cobra is there, it wants to kill you, and like kill it. Yeah, so you'll find most of the time it's the men who are exposed to the very dangerous situations. So one of the things that we bring to the table is security. When somebody is screaming outside there, it's the man that usually tasked to go and secure that person, to go and save that person. When robbers attack a compound, it's the men who are supposed to come out and um, help people. So one of the things that we bring to the table is security. So it can be physical security or financial security. The second thing is problem solving and leadership. So we'll all agree that men, in terms of our thinking, we differ. For us, we are more of logic and realistic, but for females, it's more of emotions. Yeah, that's why sometimes men and women disagree on so many things because they view things from a different point of view. So, as men, now that we have the naturally we can think about things logically, so we have the ability to problem solve, to analyze the realistic aspects and bring out a very realistic solution that can solve the problem. Also, because of leadership demands a lot of logic than emotion. Because when you're basing on emotions, you'll be swaying sides. Today you're there tomorrow. But one thing about logic is you look at things and be able to decipher between what is supposed to be done and what's not supposed to be done, basing on the reality. So, as men, we also bring leadership and problem solving there. Table. The next thing is provision and support. We find that in most marriages, the man is the one who caters for a lot of financial duties, school fees, rent, medical cover, investments, and many other things. Yeah, so the man provides a lot. But also, besides financial provision, we also have emotional provision, emotional to kids. We have emotional in terms of listening to the wife. Let's say if the wife has an issue, the man is supposed to be there at least to listen and at least help. Yeah, so besides financial contribution, we also bring to the table emotional provision, among many other things, time, attention. Yeah, because when you're providing something, it means something that people need. For instance, finances you also have other priorities that the family or women need in the society. Also, we can talk about encouragement and motivation. So human beings have that point in time when they feel so high, and there's also that time when they feel low. So as a man can step in. Let's say, for example, when the children feel discouraged, they can step in to help, by giving them encouragement, by giving them points of view and all that. When the woman feels encouragement, let's say after women give birth, we have this thing called post-birth depression. Getting the correct name. Is that depression that sometimes women go through after giving birth, or let's say when a woman miscarriages and many other things. So it's also a duty of a man. So most men step in at that time to provide encouragement, to support the women, to encourage them that it's just something that is temporary, that at the end of the day they'll be able to come out of it. So men offer encouragement and motivation. Let's say, for example, if your woman has some particular endeavors, let's say she's a model, you encourage her to go for competitions. Let's say when your woman is a CEO somewhere, when your woman is a businesswoman somewhere, maybe things are not working out in the business. So you find that as a man, you have to step in, and that's what men do also. They step in and they encourage the woman that you can do this, because human beings also need motivation. Yeah, human beings need, besides food, they also need motivation to keep going, because sometimes things are not so easy. So some people are able to do things because of motivation. So a man also brings in motivation and encouragement in a relationship or a family setup. Then we have partnership and responsibilities. Hereby we are talking about partnership, for example, in parenting. The man maybe when he comes home early can help the children do assignments. The man can help do a few things here and there. Sometimes he can help the wife. Let's say if the wife is pregnant, can at least step in and prepare some food for the family. He can help in doing a few things here and there. Once in a while, he can, because there's something that men don't like doing. And that's why, for example, like making bed, men naturally don't like it. You'll find when men wake up, they'll wake up and leave the bed the way it is. But sometimes, as a man, you can decide to do it just to make a woman feel appreciated. Yeah, you can sometimes decide just to do a few things to just spice up the relationship and break monotony. Yeah. So they offer partnership in the sense that sometimes they split uh, this responsibility. Sometimes maybe when the woman is away, he can also help in, for example, changing diapers, which is very okay. Yeah, it's not sometimes solely the duty of the woman, because at the end of the day, when the child also grows up, this child will also be supporting both the father and the mother. Yeah, but of course, it's not a must. We have this issue of black tax whereby you find some parents demand for some things from their children that I educated you, I did this to you, so I'm demanding this in return, or we expect you to do this. You should not be more of a demand, should be more of appreciation. The child should just do that because of appreciation, appreciating for what the parents have done in their lives, but it should not be a demand that they are demanding for this. Yeah. So men play that role of partnership in responsibilities here and there. Yeah. Then vision and long-term planning. Men, because they're the leaders. As a leader, you need to have also a plan and a vision for a particular institute you're leading. So in this case, we're talking of a relationship or marriage as an institution, or institution whereby you need to have some vision of what maybe you want the next 2 or 3 years to be like, the next 10 years to be like what you want to achieve as a family. Yeah, of course, and also the woman also should help in terms of setting up, the vision and all that. Yeah. So, but of course, the man is now the flag bearer. Is the one is the key player in all that.
Do you think it works in relationships?
Come again.
I'm asking if it could work in relationships.
Okay, that's a good question. Vision. Now, in relationships, it depends. Nowadays, we have a modern feminism that has really revolutionized things and make things so open. For example, in relationships, we have uh, they say men are the gatekeepers to relationships, and women are gatekeepers to sex. You see. So we find in a man can be a vision holder in the relationship whereby maybe he looks at his, for example, finances and have maybe some goals that by the time he gets to these financial levels, then he can now proceed to have a family. So he can have that vision and leadership, because now a lot of provision and financial roles are performed by the man. Yeah, so all that also play, but a lot of it happens in now marriage. Yeah, because you see, relationship, most of the time relationship is all about getting to know each other, and I'll speak now the dangers of men overdoing it in relationships. Um, Let me first start by saying relationships most of the time is there for people to get to know each other, to get to understand if they're compatible. Now, if the man now uh, maybe overdo in terms of maybe uh, vision and all that, because you can find at the end of the day he'll be disappointed. Maybe he was planning this future with this woman, then one day this woman says, "No, I feel like you're not my type anymore. I feel like I don't feel you anymore." Yeah. So I think people should spend a lot of time in the relationship, first getting to know each other, and not over planning, because you can be shortchanged at the end of the day. You had this future in this person, and all of a sudden, one day they wake up and they tell you they're no longer interested in you or in the relationship. You should call everything off. Yeah.
It could be also difficult for someone to put efforts and energy in maybe whatever you're trying to do as partners in a relationship, but deep down they're like, maybe this guy won't end up with me, so I don't think I can do this. So they can maybe decide to back off, or maybe not really giving what they were supposed to give.
Oh, so like you're talking the idea of women backing off, or because this man doesn't want to commit?
No, like you're afraid being part of the vision fully, because you're not sure if this one will marry you,
Okay.
will end up together. So maybe I was just saying it could be difficult for it to work if you're in a relationship.
Do you think there's something that women can do to ensure that they end up with this man?
A lot of things.
What can they do, for example?
I could talk about just being a woman and showing love and support to this woman in a way that they can see or maybe recognize.
Because let me tell you where the scripts change.
Okay.
The only way a man may drop you that way if they see, if one they find you to be a parasite. At the end of the day, in biology, when you're talking about relationship, you have parasitic relationship and a symbiotic relationship or mutual relationship. So if the man sees, because if you are a key player in that vision, then it means you need to add some value. When, for example, nations are doing business, it can't be one nation is always losing and the other is always gaining. They'll stop that business. But if both nations are benefiting, they'll have a long-term business. So a man can change all that if he realizes that this woman is a liability and not an asset. Yes. But if the woman knows her value and she has gone out of her way to, to establish herself and become very valuable, a man will never let that woman go away. He'll ensure that he pushes things to the next level. So I think we should also have a video to talk about how a woman can make herself valuable. Yes, so that because at the end of the day, we have some women who have not. You only become valuable when you invest in yourself. We have women who have not invested in themselves, and they still believe that they can be valuable. Yeah. For example, if you are a woman and you have knowledge on financial matters, you're financially literate, you know how to invest and so on. A man may not dispose such a woman. Like, this one is a gem. I need to keep her by my side. Yeah. So it depends also with the woman. You'll randomly ask a woman, what are some of the business ideas that you think we can have, what you can engage in? Or if you ask a woman, I have this capital, I can give you, but which kind of business can you do? Some women will tell you nothing. Like, I don't know. You see, a man will be like, I can't have visions with such a person because they have no idea of what they do like. And yeah, so as much as women say they want a man with a vision, but as a woman, are you also, do you have the capacity to support them? You can be having a man who has a vision, but he's executing the vision alone. As a woman, you also need to have capacity to support the vision. Most women don't have. You can find, let's say the man has a vision to own many supermarkets, but he does not have a woman who can come in to, at least giving some advice. Because you can't advise somebody when you know nothing about nothing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, a king could need a queen. A queen could need a king for them to survive. So you must be somewhere. This whereby self-awareness comes in again.
Yeah, self-awareness and self-investment. Yeah. You invest in yourself by getting the knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you become valuable.
You have to know first what you can give this man. Okay, you have a man with visions and everything that you need. Could you sustain this person? Could this person be okay being with you?
Yeah, let me answer you by saying this. I think it's high time most men, when a woman tells you, I need a man with a vision, and also ask the woman, how can you support my vision?
Yeah.
What have you invested in yourself to support my vision?
Yeah.
Many women will just say, I need a man with a vision, with goals and all that, but how do you come in to support all this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as a woman, for example, you can say, I need a man with a vision, but I can support him by bringing in my financial management knowledge. I know how to manage finances. I know how I can advise a man. You can invest on this kind of assets. This you can ask randomly a woman what is liquidity and like, what's that liquid?
Yeah, true.
We have a term called liquidity in finance. As a man, try asking a woman what is liquidity. They know nothing about liquidity. Yeah. And nowadays, you must not necessarily go to school and pursue Bachelor of Commerce and all that. We have a lot of information on YouTube. Just Google, go to YouTube or Google financial literacy classes or tutorials. You start learning how to budget. That's what now we call support. As a woman, you can come in to help the man in terms of budgeting. Once they earn their salary, you help them now. This have the budget. Women be like, we have now, we paid rent, we paid school fees, we have this amount remaining, let us go to Dubai. But another woman say, no, first, before we go to Dubai, let us first, for the first few years of our lives, we can spend our surplus on investments. Then once we have a stable flow of surplus income, then we can now take time to have fun. These are two different women. This other woman will support you in your vision, but the other one will be there to just feed on your ambitions and all that. So there'll be, like that tap or that hole in a water system that is always leaking water, therefore interfering with supply.
Do you think it could be easy for a normal girl or a normal woman to be married with a preacher?
With the pastor?
These serious pastors.
Okay, now let me tell you. That's a good question. It's very possible for a woman to become a wife to a pastor, but but what she needs to know the expectations that she needs to, execute at the end of the day. She needs to know that being a pastor's wife, one, you'll constantly have visitors coming to your place. So you need to be, if you're somebody who likes their personal space, then you have to manage. Then two, you need to know things like you'll be having to prepare food for visitors every now and then. Another thing, also as a pastor's wife, every now and then, let's say for example in church, you'll have to introduce the man of God before he goes to preach. Another thing, every now and then you'll have to act as a role model, the way you speak to the pastor, the way just react when he speaks and all that, because other women will also be looking at you. Yeah, so they'll be looking at you as a role model. So it's very possible for any woman to be a wife to a pastor, but she has to know what is expected of her. So I think I've answered the question, right? Yeah, so it's very important for her to know what is expected of her. Then another thing that men bring to the table is companionship, whereby companionship is basically company. So they give women company so that they're not lonely at the end of the day. Yeah, so there's that companionship, and that comes in as a package. That's also what men bring to the table. Then we have emotional intelligence. Here I talk about how men can be able to process tough situations without overreacting. Yeah, but we still have also a few men who struggle with emotional intelligence. But at least majority of men handle things with a lot of emotional intelligence. But still, allow me to raise an issue. Most of the time, women take men as superhuman beings. They expect that they'll just talk to a man anyhowly and expect him not to act, because they expect that a man is a man and he needs to always be firm and all that. A man is also a human being. And I asked this question to women. Assume now, now that you expect your man to be always like a rock, he does not feel anything. Even if you talk shit to him, he has to be just calm. Who is that you don't talk like that to your brother or father? They'll beat you up. And growing up, if you've grown up with your brothers, you realize there's no school that has taught them to be men. Yeah. So it does not make sense for you to expect your man to behave in a certain way, and even your brothers alone, they have not been taught, they have not been to any school. And as a woman, you're expecting your man not to get angry when you talk to him anyhowly. And etiquette was taught in both boys and girls' school. It was not only taught in boys' school. Yeah, etiquette. Words like saying sorry, please, may I. Communicating politely. was taught in both boys and girls school. If it was a total, meant for men, then it was only supposed to be taught in boys school. So at the end of the day, women need to know how to manage their emotions and moods. Even if you have mood swings, if you feel like you'll talk nonsense or something that can provoke somebody, then just tell them you're not in the mood to talk. And because you see, women expect men to handle all these. They expect them to be okay talking to them anyhowly, and even fellow women may sometimes don't take, they don't understand that. Because I expect fellow women to understand that you have moods, your mood swings, so you can talk anyhowly, but even fellow women don't understand that. Because sometimes even women fight because of somebody just talking to them anyhow. So if women can do the same, also men cannot do the same because they don't have a fine line. Because a woman should just be strong enough that when I talk anything, you just persevere, no? So does it mean when a woman is having mood swing, then because you're a foolish man, a whole you'll just be like, she's on mood swing, so let me just be okay. And that's why even firstborn daughters have problems with their mothers because of this issue. So don't over expect that a man, despite the fact that they bring emotional intelligence to the relationship, don't overdo it. Don't expect that they'll be now superhuman. They also get angry at some points, especially if you push them to the wall. Yeah. Sometimes men don't do things because they want to do. It's because you've pushed them to the wall. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that is crystal clear. Another issue is network and social capital. Whereby if a man knows a few friends in other places and there's something that the wife needs or children, he can reach out to those friends, then they get the services. So men also provide or bring social capital and networks on the table. Yeah, so which is very crucial. Then men also bring resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after a bad experience. So men are in a position to think about things, process things, and bounce back after maybe a bad encounter. That they can just think about, for example, an encounter like, for example, when he loses his job, as long as the wife does not mess up his head by putting a lot of pressure on him. And let me tell you a story. That reminds me of a story. There's this man in 2020 when we had COVID. This man happened to lose his job. Then, so he was forced to go back home and stay with the wife. So when he was at home for some months, the wife slightly started helping, but he was putting pressure on this man. Then at least after some time, this man got something small to do to bring in some money. Then later, this man, one day, he got an accident and he was hospitalized. And the funny thing was, this woman used to go to the hospital to demand for money from this man, and he's hospitalized. Somebody who cannot work, he's in the hospital. How do you expect him to give you money? So these are some of the challenges that men face. As much as men can be resilient, so sometimes we also have abuse of men's abilities, and we have sometimes of assumption. People assume, and assumption in a relationship it's a relationship killer. You assume that he has to do this, as long as something has not been documented anywhere that a man should do this and all that. In short, it's all about communication. If you have expectations, then let that person know. But if you have expectations and you don't communicate, then things go south. So maybe are there some expectations that you have for men matters what they bring to the table as women?
maybe just to mention the obvious things,
Mhm.
we expect the men to take the bigger part in the house, the responsibility. Maybe if you're having kids, you're expected to pay school fees and pay the rent. Yeah, and maybe medical cover, and the wife will take care of the rest.
And are there some things that that was I've asked you about what you expect, right? Are there something that maybe you expect that men don't do? Okay. Okay, that's okay. So our viewers, you tell us what are some of the things that men bring to the table? Men tell us what are some of the things that you bring to the table. Women tell us some of the things that you expect men to bring, but they don't do it at the end of the day. Yeah. So tell us in the comment section.
Yeah. And maybe just a question as you conclude. Do you think it's okay for every woman, every wife, or every lady to maybe receive dowry?
Every woman or every man?
Every woman, every wife, every.
First woman alone. You remember that time you asked me for both parents?
No.
Woman.
Like it's you paying for me. It's you paying for me as your wife, as your woman.
Okay. So it depends. It depends the intention of paying.
Okay.
If it's a business, then it should not happen.
Of course it's not.
But if I'm paying because I'm appreciating, then it's okay. Sometimes parents make it a business when they tell you some huge amounts that you cannot afford. That's more of a business. An appreciation must not be something that somebody cannot afford. Yeah, if it's an appreciation, it's okay. But if it's business, no. Yeah. Yeah, so guys, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and see you in our next videos. If you've not checked out what women bring to the table, I'll show you, so check, because we've done that episode, so check in our videos. Stay tuned, hit the notification bell. Bye bye.
Bye.